Ahmed was a 10-year-old boy who lived in a small town with his loving family. He was a kind and humble boy who loved listening to stories about Islam, the prophets, and the holy places of Makkah and Madinah. Every time his parents spoke about Hajj, Umrah, and the Kaaba, his eyes would shine with excitement. But more than anything, Ahmed had one big dream: to visit Makkah and see the Kaaba with his own eyes. Every night he would look up at the sky, whisper a prayer, and ask Allah, subhanallah wa ta'ala, to make his dream come true. Ramadan was Ahmed's favorite time of the year. Though he was young, he fasted every day with great dedication. He would wake up early for suhoor, eat dates, drink milk, and sit beside his father as he recited verses from the Quran. Even during the hot afternoons, when his stomach rumbled with hunger, Ahmed would remind himself, "I am fasting for Allah. He will reward me." Every evening at Iftar, when the call for Maghrib Adhan filled the air, he would break his fast with a date in a glass of water, whispering, "Alhamdulillah," for the food in front of him. But deep in his heart, he longed for something more: to break his fast in front of the Kaaba one day. One evening, as Ahmed sat with his family for Iftar, his father cleared his throat and said with a big smile, "Ahmed, I have some exciting news for you." Ahmed looked up curiously, his mouth still full of dates. "What is it, Baba?" His father exchanged a glance with his mother, then said, "We are going to Makkah for Umrah." For a moment, Ahmed couldn't believe what he had heard. His hands trembled, and his eyes widened in shock. "Makkah? Really, Baba? We are really going?" His mother hugged him and said, "Yes, my dear. Allah has answered your prayers." Tears rolled down Ahmed's cheeks. He couldn't stop thanking Allah. That night, he could hardly sleep, imagining the moment he would see the Kaaba for the first time. The next few days were filled with excitement. Ahmed packed his ihram, prayer mat, and Quran, carefully placing them in his suitcase. He kept asking his parents questions. How big is the Kaaba? How does Zamzam water taste? Will we get to touch the black stone? Finally, the big day arrived. Ahmed and his family reached the airport. It was his first time flying in an airplane, and he was filled with excitement and nervousness. As the plane took off, Ahmed looked out of the window and saw the clouds beneath him. He whispered, "Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Allah, for this journey." After a long journey, they landed in Saudi Arabia. As soon as they stepped out, Ahmed felt the warm desert air against his face. He could see people from all around the world, dressed in white ihram, all coming for one purpose: to worship Allah. As they drove toward Makkah, Ahmed's heart started beating faster. He kept looking outside, waiting for the moment he would finally see the Kaaba. At last, they arrived at Masjid al-Haram. Ahmed held his father's hand tightly as they walked inside. His heart pounded with excitement. And then he saw it. The Kaaba stood right in front of him, shining under the golden lights of the mosque. It was bigger, more beautiful, and more breathtaking than he had ever imagined. Tears filled Ahmed's eyes. He raised his hands and whispered, "Ya Allah, thank you for bringing me here. You have given me more than I ever dreamed of." His father patted his shoulder and said, "Go on, Ahmed. Make your prayers. This is a blessed moment." Ahmed fell into sujud, pressing his forehead against the cool marble floor, thanking Allah from the bottom of his heart. Ahmed and his family began their tawaf around the Kaaba, walking in circles with thousands of other people, all reciting Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik. Ahmed felt like he was part of something greater, something divine. After completing tawaf, They drank the cool and refreshing Zamzam water, and Ahmed smiled. "It tastes sweeter than anything in the world," he exclaimed. Later, they walked between the hills of Safa and Marwa, just like Hajar, As did in search of water for baby Ismail. Ahmed imagined how strong her faith was and how Allah rewarded her with the Zamzam well. That evening, as the sun began to set, Ahmed sat beside his family near the Kaaba, waiting for the Adhan. He looked around at the thousands of people sitting with him, all united by their faith, all waiting to break their fast together. Then the beautiful sound of Maghrib Adhan echoed through Masjid al-Haram, the entire mosque filled with whispers of Bismillah as people took their first bites of dates and sipped water. Ahmed picked up a date, closed his eyes and whispered, "Alhamdulillah. Ya Allah, you have given me so much." He took a bite and tears rolled down his cheeks again. Tears of gratitude, tears of joy. That night, Ahmed prayed Taraweeh in Masjid al-Haram. He listened to the Imam's recitation of the Quran, feeling every word touch his heart. Before leaving the mosque, Ahmed stood one last time before the Kaaba, looking at it with love and admiration. Ya Allah, please bring me back here again, and bless every Muslim with the chance to visit this holy place. As they walked back to their hotel, Ahmed held his father's hand and said, "Baba, this was the best day of my life." His father smiled and said, "This is just the beginning, my son. When you have faith, Allah will always bless you with more than you imagine." Ahmed smiled, knowing that his heart would always belong to Makkah, the holiest place on earth. Moral of the story: the power of dreams and prayers. Ahmed's dream of seeing the Kaaba came true because he kept praying and believing. This teaches that when we sincerely ask Allah for something good, He grants it in the best way. If you also wish to visit Makkah one day, please comment, inshallah.